you?
Can you please unmute yourself?
Okay, 1 second. It's not
Hello.
allowing me. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi,
Yes, now it's
can you
working.
hear me?
Yes, yes.
Ah,
So, yeah. So, Wahida, very good morning. So,
good
welcome to the
morning.
Global Virtual Summit 2026.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, I will introduce you to our audience so that you can start your session.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our next speaker, Wahida Mohammed. So, she is an author, educator, and poet and podcaster, entrepreneur, and public speaker with over 30 years of teaching experience across diverse educational settings in London. So, she is a founder of Wisdom Feast, where she develops educational programs focused on storytelling, well being, and holistic learning. So, with expertise in the languages, early childhood educations, and multicultural learnings, she is the passionate about fostering authenticate human connection. So, through her writing, teaching, and speaking, Vaida inspires educators, parents, and learners around the world. So, that was a wonderful bio, Vaida.
Thank
So,
you.
all the best, and the stage is yours.
Okay, lovely. So we're on the first slide, yes. So good morning, everyone. I'm very grateful to be here with everyone. So yes, as that amazing introduction, I am very much fond in education. I've worked in various settings, children with different needs, and it's just important to realize that we are all unique. We were a child ourselves once upon a time, and it's very important to sometimes reflect on our life journey, which never ends. If we could move on to the next slide, please. Okay, so the power of storytelling. So through real life and stories, we learn and transmit life lessons that highlight how everyone on this planet has values and wisdom to share. These stories incite motivation and inspiration. So we all have a place to play in children's journey as parents, carers, teachers, educators, or any professionals or individuals who help to shape children. And again, it's all coming from experience. So yes, I definitely value life experience, journey experiences, um, because we learn from each other. If you could, yeah, move on to the next slide, please. Storytelling transforms learning. Okay, so here, learning that children feel and remember. Yes, we all have our little memories. I mean, personally, I remember when I was 4. I just remember my father reading his newspaper. He used to read a newspaper every day, and just asking him to tell me a story. I grew up very much in a storytelling environment. Hence, why today the main topic is going to be storytelling. But the power of storytelling in education is absolutely powerful, and I will be showing today how and the best way each one of us can use it to their own advantage. So it's going to be very, very practical. I mean, storytelling encourage empathy. It obviously helps us to understand not just uh, our backgrounds, our culture, but it also helps us to shape us for the future. Um, and I think creativity is very, very important. As an educator myself, I think we never encourage it enough. Creativity is quite vast, right? So it's writing, singing, playing, and as parent carers, it can start with something very, very simple, just playing a game. Obviously, not an online kind of game, just using like a game board or create your own game. So just to encourage communication, it builds connections as well between family members, and it strengthens memory. So if you could move on to the next slide, please. Yeah. So a practical framework for modern education. So I've worked in different kind of settings. So and I've used different kind of approaches. So I work in primary, secondary, college, using different methodologies. So I've used the Montessori methodology, EFL, also secondary curriculum, teaching various subjects as well as languages. And basically, it all shaped a different framework that I put together. And again, it's a very much of a holistic approach, because especially nowadays, children, through changes, through exams, through the environment, sometimes they are facing a very, very high level of stress, and there's lots of pressure put on them. So in my framework, I wanted a more holistic approach to it. So I definitely value the support and working in partnership with various people. And it has to be a child-led, because we are all unique. Children learn in a different way. It has to be differentiated. And a child will always learn from his or her passion. So he has to be interested in what he's going to be learning. So it's modeling it, always starting from the child. If you could move on to the next slide, please. Right, so that's the framework that I've put together. So mind, body, and family. I've integrated all those three components into one framework. So the well-being model, that's how I call it. It's a true learning which takes place when children feel emotionally supported, physically healthy, and deeply connected to the people around them. A child who's not in a right physical place is not going to be able to learn, or if emotionally is not again balanced, is not going to learn. Family. So family, we'll be looking into that a little bit more, but family is the immediate family members, but it's also extended family or friends, and your network, the child's network, the supportive, positive network around the child. Obviously, we all have different situation when we grow up. Some have parents, some don't, but it's really, really important to identify those people, which could be one person or people who have a positive impact on the child growth, well-being. I keep bringing back that into place. Well-being, a child has to be in a well-being state to be able to progress, learn, yes, and become who he or she wants to be. So yeah, it's like putting in place a positive, supportive network. Yeah, if you could move on to the next slide, please. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, I'm not sure if we can hear me. I'm just going to... Okay, if we could please move on. I'm going to type it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Right. So I've put in place 5 strategies: partnerships with parents, partnership with artists, partnership with educators, partnership with the community, and project with children. So there are 5 successful strategies in education through the power of storytelling, which happens to be the title of my new book, which I wanted it to be a practical guide that each one of us, parents, carers, professionals, education leaders, can use it to support children, schools, and create a very much of a positive child-led education experience. So partnership with parents, how does that work? Just on a practical level, for example, in a school, we've been working lately on a film project. So I got in touch with an organization which happens to be a charity, and they were offering workshops for our children. So I made the first step, obviously, as an educator. I brought them into school. We discussed together how we could adapt it, because no workshop should be all the same. It all starts from the school's culture, the children's needs, interests. So it was very much an interaction between teachers, head teacher, children, what they were interested in, and so that was the partnership with various artists in this case. Partnership with parents, that would be, for example, when we organize an international week, and so we wanted to value each child through inviting their parents. So it happens to be that parents are coming from different parts of the world, and in that specific week we had different music, different kind of food, clothing. So it was a very much multicultural experience, valuing children and parents, and basically making this relationship between school and parents strong, which obviously is always a very much high benefit for each child. Partnership with educators. Okay, so it can be within a school, but it can also working in partnership with educators from different pathway of life. We all have different experiences, and it's always very nice to invite people in. Um, so yes, again, we are experiencing that every day, and that's definitely something I encourage. Partnership with a community. So another example, because it's all living experience, right? And it's not just reading an idea, it's putting it into place. So all those ideas today, I hope for you is going to be practical and yeah, and for you to use. So partnership with a community, I think it was this year, February. What I did is I contacted various professionals. So it was not a career advice week, but it was a little bit of that. I wanted it to be an inspirational, motivational week for all children, because those specific children, they are SEMH, so they have social, emotional, mental health um, needs. And so it's a special school, this one I'm talking about. And some of them cannot see anything further out of the school. They cannot imagine what they're going to be doing when they leave school. So it was very important for me to bring in this kind of motivation and inspiration. So I invited various people, which were, so we had a film director, we had an international Olympic fencer, and I think we also had firemen, police, so people from different walk of life. Okay, and so it was really, really lovely. We did it as an assembly. All children were there, and each person, each professional did a little introduction. And for example, also the film director showed different snaps of films. She showed how she did how she managed to become who she is now. So it didn't really particularly start easy, but how she managed to overcome all the challenges. Because yes, understanding that life is always like this, right? There will always be challenges, up and down, but how we learn from our experiences. So it was very powerful for the children to see those professionals in front of them. And the fencer, even the Olympic fencer, shared with everyone that he was diagnosed with ADHD. So it doesn't really matter not, I mean, in the sense that nothing should obstruct or stop you from realizing your life dream. Everything is possible. So that was definitely the main message. Yes, and the project with children. So again, it could be anything they're interested in. If they want to develop a project on a local charity, raising some money, selling, so in a DT, for example, creating some specific objects. So it could be purses, it could be anything arty crafty that they want to sell after, and develop something for their class. Or yes, so the project with children is limitless. It all stems from a discussion with the children. Having discussions with children, thank you, is really empowering for them. They feel heard, they feel seen, and I don't think we listen to children enough. So it's not just a stereotype. It's so powerful. I mean, from being an educator myself, I definitely see the impact and results from listening to them. They feel involved, not only on a daily basis, but in various projects. And it's amazing the exchange we have between children and adults. It's not always us adults who are teaching, who are giving and sharing some lessons, right? It has to be an exchange between children and adults always. Yeah. If you could move on to the next slide, please. Okay, so education that cares for the whole child. So again, yes, just emphasizing that the framework that I've put in place is very much holistic. It's all about the child's well-being that nurtures the mind, the hearts, and communities through the power of storytelling. So again, to talk about storytelling, we all have a story to tell ourselves, but growing up, we had stories around us, right? Stories from our parents, from our grandparents, stories around us, which in certain level shapes who we are. And I'm so fond of the stories growing up myself. That's how I came up with the first book, which was basically Wisdom Fist for Would You Like to Be Remembered For. That was the first one where I was listening to different people's stories and putting them into a book. So, and how each story follows the path, but also empowers each one of them. And at the end of each story, there is a message for each future generation. So it's important to pass on those stories from generation to generation. And if we forget to share them, to pass them on, then they get lost. But that's why I also value projects with the elderly groups and anyone who has some wisdom to share. And the combination between education and storytelling, it's basically through involving people from different walk of life and incorporating it in some curriculum that I put together and which has become a practical guide. So yes, you have core subjects, but you also have other subject, entrepreneurship, you have money management, so you have different subjects that I don't think we develop enough in schools. So it's all about also supporting our children to become independent and self-sufficient, and it all starts with the beginning. So can you share? So I'm reading some of the questions here. How can storytelling make learning more engaging and memorable for students of all ages? Oh, very good question. Yes, I always start with my own story. I have so many. I'm a live book myself. I start off with a story because some of the children are not used to share their stories, and you have to make it as a positive, encouraging environment. So usually start with a small group, and I like to call it reflection time. So we usually do it in the morning. And so you start with your own story, and then they ask you a question. They become curious. And they can see that at my age now, I mean, I don't mind sharing my age, I'm 55, that I still remember my stories when I was 4 years old. Not all of them, but there's a particular story I remember when I was 4 years old. So they can see that, it doesn't matter your life path, your age, or anything like that. There are some impactful stories in your life. Thank you for this question. I've got another question. What practical advice would you give to educators and leaders who want to use storytelling as a powerful teaching tool? Yes, so there is a framework that I have put in place. It has to be practical with some ideas. It has to be strategic. It has to be manageable and measurable. So that's something that I have basically put in into the book. So I've developed different strategies, and with examples, scenarios, step by step, how to use storytelling in different subjects in your school. So it's all in the book. I could give you an example. Okay, let me see which one I could share. Okay, for example, math. When you start teaching I don't know, let's say subtraction or multiplication in math, it's very interesting to maybe start off by who invented this concept. So a little bit of a story background, very, very short, and or maybe how do they teach math in different parts of the world, and so make it give it some life. So it's not just from a textbook, or even inviting a parent who happens to be a math teacher and maybe from a different generation. And how did you learn? How did you learn addition, subtraction, multiplication? So just by bringing a real life little story about that concept as an introduction, and then you just move on, obviously, to the actual concept. So always starting from the practical and to the abstract, but with a little idea of the background of the concept, if that makes sense. Okay, and then we've got, can you share a real life example where storytelling significantly improved learning outcomes or student engagement? Yes. So in English, in one of the English session, we basically invited different authors, and obviously I was one of them in the school. And so we were focusing on creative writing. So we put together, we were three of us, we put together a workshop in the school and encouraged creative writing through a practical workshop, and they could see that we were real people, real authors. We again started off by telling all the children about our background, the little stories, that we were not all authors or writers, that we some of us changed. I think one of the authors used to be a PE teacher at first, and decided to change a little bit of his route into writing, because it was one of his interests, passion, growing up, and he decided to go back to his passion. So it is powerful for children to witness, to see real life people, listen to them. And it's motivating, and they could actually see the results in front of them. Thank you for this question. And then we've got, what inspired you to develop this 5 successful strategy for education through storytelling? Very good question. Thank you for asking this. It all stemmed from me as a child, being in school, where I found that some of the subjects were too abstract, example, physics, math, which are abstracts. But then it took me time to develop and understand the concepts. So I wanted to make it as a journey, as a storytelling journey. So, I mean, all those concepts took about 5 years of self-reflection, and all based on me working in different types of school all around London with children with different needs, interest, and also by listening and giving a voice, not just children, but parents, carers, people from different walk of life. So you can see it again in the book, but I put together a questionnaire for 3 age groups. So the first one was for 50s, people who are in their 50s plus. Another group was in the 30 plus, and the last group was secondary age group with more or less the same question. What is your experience of education? What do you feel about examination? So a list of various questions looking at the emotional answers and results and experiences, what they find positive in their learning school journey or what they found challenging. So I wanted to answer some of the question. I wanted to meet them. I wanted to take into account their journey, as well as adding my own ideas, my own experience, and that's how the 5 successful strategy for education came into life. Yes, I think we can move on to the next slide, please. Okay, so that was, yes, I don't know if we have any more questions. What inspired you to develop? Yeah, that's that question. Anyone would like to ask me any more questions, please do. But I would like to share the book, which is 5 Successful Strategy to Education Through the Power of Storytelling, which is available on Amazon. It is a practical guide. It's not just for parents and carers, it's for all educational leaders. And yeah, I think it will answer a lot of your questions. So thank you, everyone, for having me today. I hope it has been insightful. As you probably can tell, I am very fond of education, storytelling, and they just go together beautifully. Thank you very much. Any more questions? Oh. Which leadership style works best today? Ooh, that's a very interesting one. I would say that the best leaders are not just the one who have the leadership hat per se, but it's definitely a person who understands children, who have the best interest, who have children as the best interest. A leadership who is not afraid to start something different, to see what works best and to apply it, to welcome new ideas, try things out, adapt, be flexible, supportive, and who always put children forefront, center. Yes, to me, that's the best leadership. And obviously, a leadership who has experienced different methods themselves, then they can compare, and who are not afraid to have different professionals coming in, different ideas, and being a motivational factor and support and inciting new ideas, creativity, and always welcoming that for the children's learning. Yeah. Yes, deepen understanding. So I also think that it's very, very important to spend some time with ourselves, right? And look again at our life journey, because at the end of the day, we are the best role model. In my case, I've always been in education, but at one point, I remember my passion, which was writing, and it all started from when I was in primary school. So, supporting children's passion, interest is very much connected to their well being, right? And even us as adults, we tend to forget our journey uh, with the busyness of our day to day life. So, yeah, it's very important to pause and sit back and reflect, and that's something also that should be in school. We should give that time and space for children to reflect on their learning journey. So yeah, in the school I was at, is we call it reflection time, which very much is at the beginning of the day. And of course there's a specific topic led, and then I would start off with a little journey, little story, and using different materials. So I've used poems, I've used props. Um, yes, so this is where you use your creativity for children to communicate, empower them. It's helping them in so many different levels, um, not only with the core subject, but overall at the end of the day it all balances itself, right? And it's all about empowering our children. Do you have any more questions, or would you like me to clarify something in particular, or I could just share with you something from the book? Okay. Yes. A practical framework for modern education. So the way I've designed it, so you have the introduction, you've got the background and expertise, how the book is structured, why me, why now. Then we have reflection on adults age 40 and above, students today, 15 to 19 years old. We've got children voices, parents and carers. We've got some school experience, the well-being model, which we talked about, which is the mind-body family. You've got details of the different strategies and partnership with parents, artists, educators, community, child-led projects. Then you've got math, numbers, and as stories, patterns as narratives, English language, every story teaches, every voice matters. In science, wonder, investigation, and discovery stories, very powerful. Modern foreign languages, which is very important, not just culturally, but to support children's learning, memory, because obviously when you learn languages, it has to be scientifically proven that it supports memory and learning as well. So modern foreign languages, cultural bridge building through stories, money management, business and entrepreneurship, economic stories you can have here, financial wisdom, getting started, first step for individual educators, building school wild culture, leadership and systemic change, community implementation, engaging families and local organization, sustaining innovation, long-term success and growth. Okay. And I am happy to share with you the introduction if we have time,
Yeah,
but otherwise, yes, we're okay?
yeah, Vaida. So that
Yes.
was a wonderful presentation, and so I know you have answered all the questions. So you have answered most of the questions from the audience, and so we will be sharing the remaining questions to your email, so you can answer them. And yeah, so thanks for your presentation, and please be in the backstage and enjoy the remaining sessions. So and
Thank
have
you
a
so much.
yeah, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.